Hello and welcome to No Filter, a Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Wizrad, and this is episode 13, being recorded on March 15th, 2018. Yes, it's been a couple weeks since my last podcast episode. I've had a few videos up, but they're smaller videos that I can do quickly. Work has just been super busy for me over the last couple weeks, so it's taken me some time to get going on the podcast again, but here I am, new episode. Let's just jump right into it here. So, the news. First thing we got, Nintendo Direct. So I know that I made that video of my reactions to Nintendo Direct. That was all fun and stuff like that. It was really, really good Nintendo Direct when you really think about it. Good stuff shown. Almost more than half I won't be picking up though. The quality of games are really good. They're really high. But a lot of the games are re-releases or games that I wouldn't have picked up before, so I probably won't pick them up now. Some of them I might because of the portable nature. The Switch is like an absolute lifesaver as far as game time goes. Being able to play the Switch in bed or anything like that, or say on a lunch break or something like that, if I would do that, or I know some people do that. It's super convenient and really allows you to get some more game time that you wouldn't have if you're sitting on your couch at home, kind of a thing. So it's fantastic in that way. And as far as the Nintendo Direct goes, I thought it was pretty good. You guys saw my reaction video about that. If you haven't, take a look at one of my previous videos. I am anticipating a Fire Emblem Direct. That was a big omission to me. I thought, hey, this is weird. They didn't show Fire Emblem, but because they were doing the Smash announcement, I know that they want Fire Emblem to have its own Direct, really kind of go all in, have a blowout of content. So I'm calling it right now, Fire Emblem Direct before E3. I'm guessing either late April, early May, and have a whole bunch of content about Fire Emblem with a fall release date. That's what I'm guessing. So. I don't think they want E3 to overshadow it, especially if they show off, Super Smash Bros., which would take all the hype, Metroid, if it's there, if they have a Pokemon to show, I don't think they want any of those games to overshadow Fire Emblem, so I think they want to make it its own thing. I'm also calling this another prediction. No Animal Crossing until there's a Direct early next year. That's what I'm guessing. I feel like with what's coming out this year, and if they do end up coming out with Pokemon, I feel like, no, they're not going to have Animal Crossing. It won't launch in the winter or anything like that. Animal Crossing, it would be either spring, summer, or maybe fall, but I'm guessing we won't see Animal Crossing until next year, and that'll be one of the big games for 2019. With 2017, it was Super Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 2018, it would be Super Smash Brothers, and potentially Pokemon. Some people keep saying Metroid. I'm 100% absolutely not. I'm thinking maybe even 2020 for that. So that's those are my thoughts. Just some predictions and some thoughts around the Nintendo Direct. Next bit of news: Sega Classics Collection. So this I don't know if it's actually been officially announced yet, but or I guess it was leaked and then Sega asked people to take it down. But it was announced for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, not the Switch. I'm so sick of companies doing this shit to Switch owners. They're treating us like second-class citizens when we really we have the fucking power here. We're the ones buying and supporting games like this. We're the ones who are actually going to give you as much sales as you possibly want. Even when you decide to do all this unfair shit to Switch owners, like upcharging for physical, releasing at a later date, all this kind of bullshit that all these third-party companies keep doing. It's fucking bullshit, and they shouldn't be treating us like this. The things would sell like shit. It wouldn't sell that great on the Xbox, and would probably not sell too great on the PS4 either. Switch would kill it, and would be the best version by far, with it being portable. Yet not even a day and date announcement. Fuck you, Sega. I'm serious. This is so fucking infuriating now, especially with a system it made sense with the Wii U in some cases, because coming off of a slowing down Wii and everything, it made some sense to get some of the games late, but for games like this coming out later for the Switch, why the fuck are you doing this? It's it almost feels like they're trying to play with the hype around the Switch and say, oh, well, we're going to announce it without the Switch, and then at a later date, we're going to say, hey, the Switch one is coming. And everyone will be super excited. There'll be stories everywhere. I feel like that might be what these companies are trying to do, and I'm saying don't fucking do that, because your mind share is going down the goddamn drain, just like EA's is, and that's why I'm boycotting everything they have from now on. I'm never buying a brand new EA game, the only exception being Faye because it was Zoink Games, and I don't think they're gonna work with EA anymore. So, yeah, like, you know, I don't want to have to add companies to this list, but I hate being treated like a second-class citizen, especially when Switch owners are the ones buying these fucking games and would give them the most money, most sales out of every other system. It's stupid, it's absurd, and, you know, we deserve better. So, anyway, that's my little rant about that. Next news item: Sakurai returns to Smash. So Masahiro Sakurai is coming to Smash. Is developing Smash. I don't know what exactly his role is, if he's a director, just a producer, whatever it is, but apparently he's been working on it for over 2 years. Apparently he started right after Bayonetta, the last bit of DLC, was released. I can't imagine they didn't start even earlier than that. You know, like Bayonetta was released, over a year after Smash was actually announced. Was released on the Wii U. Yeah, no, I could totally see that he's been working on it even before then, or at least had some ideas ready, and then they were getting the team together. You know, it was interesting after that trailer, it's showing that it was just HAL Laboratory, it wasn't Bandai Namco, so maybe they had this team working on it way in advance. You know, maybe they knew, hey, Wii U isn't doing well, but we're releasing this Smash game. We need a new one for the Switch. Let's do it. So, you know, I might do a video later on about my hopes for Smash Bros. On Switch. It'll be a lot different than a lot of people, man. Like, so many people, when it comes to games like this, in the words of, like, Active Gamer Life, they're just stupid. Just stupidity is just rampant when it comes to this stuff. No one really thinks it has any common sense when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's really crazy. And over the last couple of weeks, it's been, oh man, I really want to do some rant videos about this, but just been super busy, right? I couldn't really get to it. But anyway, I really hope they do a revitalization of the franchise. I feel like they need to maybe slim down the roster. They have so many different people in there. I know people will probably be upset, but again, if you take away from the roster, it'll be a brand new game again. You know what I mean? Like, they need to maybe slim it down, go back to the basics in some ways, but also add new modes. I feel like they need to add some more single player content. That's one of the reasons why the Wii U 3DS one didn't do it as well for me. I played the 3DS one by far more. Wii U was mainly just for the parties, and I tried going through the single player classic sometimes, but it was mainly just online on the 3DS. Like, I'd be going to bed, I'd be playing online 1v1s, and that's pretty much it. The 1v1s worked pretty good. The online worked well with that, but anything over 1v1, it was getting laggy a little bit too much. So anyway, I hope they do a revitalization of the franchise. I'll probably have a video about that at some point in the future. I don't think there's a big rush, but before E3 though, for sure. Next bit of news, Retro Studios on LinkedIn. So here's a quote from one of the a person who works at Retro Studios' LinkedIn profile. Basically, they're saying, working with a highly skilled team to bridge the gaps between game design needs and telling a compelling story in a meaningful world. Basically, finding the best ways to construct narrative we want and the player to experience with the tools and restrictions available through text, dialogue, and non-traditional storytelling. So people read this, and some people are saying, hey, this could be Eternal Darkness, a sequel to Eternal Darkness. And while that is interesting, I fucking hope not. I mean, I want something that's fantastical, something big and ambitious. You know, like Eternal Darkness, I'm sure if they did it, it would be ambitious as well. But, you know, there's too many horror type games out there already recently. Horror games just don't really, you know, bring me in as much as like engaging worlds and stories and you know, fantastical elements and crazy art styles and all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't bring me in as much. I would probably get it because it's Retro Studios, but I really hope it isn't that. And again, not to mention, it wouldn't turn into a big franchise. You know, I feel like Nintendo's aware of the quality of work that Retro Studios has made. Like, seriously, I haven't made a bad game ever. And I feel like they know that, and they need to, you know, leverage a very big franchise with it. You know, I could possibly see an F-Zero, but even that, I don't know if F-Zero is that big, and just having them working on a racing game for the last, honestly, probably even like 6 years. Like, I can't imagine the whole of Retro Studios worked on Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze after they had the whole backbone built with the first Donkey Kong Country Returns. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I love reading that about, this meaningful story with design and really doing something ambitious and new here. I love seeing that because it makes me hold out for hopefully a brand new IP from these guys. I really want to see what they can do with their own IP storytelling. This is something that Nintendo itself is probably lacking in first party wise and second party, I guess you could say. They have the games like the Xenoblades and the Batten Kaitoses and all that other kind of stuff there that are RPGs with deep, meaningful stories, but they don't have as much of, say, just an Uncharted or a Last of Us as far as action games with meaningful stories of social relationships and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That could be something that they might be doing here and trying to get that onto, as a Nintendo first-party title. I know either way, I'm pretty excited for what they have coming up, and this E3, I guess that their Retro Studios thing might be released in this last Direct, at least announced, maybe a teaser, but I can see a teaser trailer for E3 and then maybe a 2019 release. We'll see. Because again, I don't think they wouldn't want the game to be overlooked. Anyway. Next and last bit of news here is Iron Galaxy to port Monster Hunter World to the Switch. So basically, Iron Galaxy, they did pretty poor ports back in the day of like Borderlands, I believe, on PS Vita and a few other games like that. But recently, Adam Boyes, as you guys may know him from Sony, he was actually the guy. I don't know if you guys remember the E3 that Xbox One was really announced and all the backlash was coming about the always online thing and not being able to trade or lend games to friends and stuff and not having physical like that. And then it was basically like the video of him handing, I think it was like Yoshida or something like that. Basically just handing them, this is how we lend games. He just like hands it to him, and they're like taking so many shots at Microsoft, and really is probably one of the main reasons why PS4 is far outtaken the Xbox as far as sales wise, and because of all the exclusives PS4 actually has. But this is interesting because Adam Boyes recently, I believe he's one of the owners now of Iron Galaxy, or he's a director or something like that, and they did great work with Skyrim. They ported Skyrim to the Switch, and really it's fantastic. It really is. And it seems to be decent now after, he showed up, Iron Galaxy Studios. I know they did a couple other ports that apparently worked pretty well as well. So it'd be interesting to see them do a Monster Hunter World, but I think it would be best if they just made a new game instead of porting Monster Hunter World, I think Capcom would be pretty stupid if they don't jump on this and bite on, on bringing a unique Monster Hunter game to the Switch. I think Japan would like riot because having Monster Hunter World is not going to perform as well in Japan as it does everywhere on 3DS and stuff like that. But not having a portable Monster Hunter is a huge negative, especially in Japan. So I feel like Capcom can't be that stupid. They're pretty fucking stupid and really dumb, but I feel like that is a no-brainer. So hopefully they learn what to do there. But anyway, Iron Galaxy basically tweeting out that, hey, we can do this. Maybe they have some certain tech that maybe that's just a smart business move by Adam Boyes by getting some attention brought to them, saying, hey, we can do this huge game and bring it to Switch. Easy, no problem. Give it to us. That might just lead to other studios thinking, hey, man, we just released Red Dead Redemption 2. Why don't you port it to Switch then? See what you can do. That's just an example. But hey, that could be just a smart business decision by Adam Boyes to publicly state that and not just going to Capcom directly. So anyway, that's the last bit of news. Let's get on to the games I've been playing recently. First game is Skyrim. So yes, I finally beat Skyrim. What a great game. Seriously, just so great. I can totally see why so many people idolize it, say it's one of their favorite games of all time. I didn't feel like going through all the side quests at the end, but I think it's mainly because I had such a gigantic backlog. But, I'm certain that there are other side quests that I didn't do before I completed the game that would be really fun and really great. I kind of wish the story kind of wrapped up a little bit nicer, but I know that they wanted to leave it open so you could still, traverse the world and do stuff like that. But it was pretty epic. I really liked it. I played for so long, so it was a little bit of a slog at the end there. At the start, I was completely sidetracked. I barely got into the story for a while, and then towards the end, I was like, okay, I just want to kind of chug through the story here and get to the end. Not that I wasn't having fun. Like I think I said before, it's like whenever I'm not playing the game, I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, I gotta get back into Skyrim. Okay, whatever. But then when I'm actually in and playing it, I get completely absorbed into the world, and I'm really enjoying it when I actually am playing it. So, yeah, it's super, super impressive in so many ways. Just like all the systems that they have and how all the side quests work together, and how you move throughout the world, and how like different people will show up here, and if you kill someone here, they're pretty much there forever. It's really some really impressive things that they put here. The dragon fights are interesting, really fun to do. I kind of wish they went a little more in depth and detailed with them, but I knew they couldn't really do that if they're completely open world with how they did. Yeah, the side quests are all interesting. You really like some of the best side quests I've ever seen in any game of an RPG ever. Like they're more interesting than the story was, really. And Parthenax is Charles Martinet. I just wanted to bring that up at the end. Man, his voice, he's so fucking good at voices. I'm surprised he's not in far more. Like the only games I know him from is obviously from Mario. I know he was in Bit Trip Runner 2, Future Legend of Rhythm Alien, I believe, and he's like the announcer, and man, his voice is so good for that. But yeah, his Parthenax, man, so good. Oh, really good. That guy is just incredible talent. So anyway, I absolutely love Skyrim. As soon as I catch up on my backlog, I'll probably end up opening up again and just kind of jumping right back in there. Having it portable is super nice to have. I'm really happy I just got it on Switch. I knew it was kind of tough to go into that when I could have got it for like $30 as opposed to 80 in Canada, but with gift cards and stuff, I was like, you know what, I think it's totally worth getting on a portable, and it 100% was. I would not have even been close to beating it by now if I didn't have a portable as well. So anyway, next game is Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy. I'm chugging away. I was playing it a few months back, and then I just kind of dropped it. Then I'm just trying to get back through it. It is nice that it is episodic, so I didn't feel like I was missing too much. I could go back and review what all the other cases were if there is some sort of overarching story. It seems like there's a few common elements, but I don't know how they're going to wrap it up. But it's still not amazing, but it does have some of the Layton charm in there. It has some decent puzzles, but then there's still the ones that are just there to trick you and just be really annoying, and you just know it. But then they throw in other ones that you think is just going to be a trick, and then it's just basic math or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it really doesn't have that kind of flow with the puzzles, but I don't know, like, what I have been playing, I've somewhat enjoyed it when I've been playing it, and I'm definitely going to play it through to the end. And I just hope they bring out a new proper Professor Layton game at some point, not this episodic stuff. It might not even have to have Professor Layton in it, at least maybe not in the whole thing, but just I hope it's just a big long overarching story with like really cool characters and stuff like that. This one has that, but it's in the episodic format that I just really don't think works well with a Layton game, at least the Layton games I remember. So anyway, next game is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, and holy crap, I had no idea this game was this good. This was masterfully made. Like every Naughty Dog game is so incredibly detailed and worked to near perfection. I think this is probably the best Uncharted game for sure. Really, it fixed so many issues that I had with the previous 3 or 4 Uncharted games, including Golden Abyss, if you really want to include that. It wasn't made by Naughty Dog, but the rope element they have is amazing. You know how you can throw the rope and you can swing along cliff sides and stuff like that. I love that. It made everything smoother and quicker and more interesting. It made it some more unique level designs that are more spread apart and not just kind of trugging through one linear path. The traversal is quick, less of a slog. The pacing is pretty good for the most part. I feel like the pacing was a little bit weird at the same time, but it kind of made it have a lot less gunplay than normal than all the other games. And I don't know exactly how I feel about that. It's like I really enjoyed the gunplay in Uncharted games, but actually, you know what? I think that is a really good thing what they did. They definitely limited the amount of gunplay, but it makes each time that you go into a gun situation, it makes it more impactful and interesting, whereas before you kind of just, oh yeah, here's another, you see a big open expanse, you already know there's going to be soldiers popping up out of nowhere, then you hide around this corner here, then you shoot someone, then you move around, you shoot someone again, they throw a grenade, you have to move, you shoot someone again. They made it a lot more unique and different here. They included a lot of really cool stealth elements. Yeah, man, it's so great. It really is. It's gorgeous. one of the prettiest games I've ever seen. It just makes me think even more, what are they going to do with The Last of Us? Holy crap. It's ridiculous quality, everything that they do in this game. You just don't see it from nearly any other publisher other than, maybe a Nintendo or maybe like a Retro Studios. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't see this quality of game, like everything wrapped up in such a good, clean package. It's insane. And yeah, like, man, just Last of Us 2 coming out now. Last of Us was my favorite Naughty Dog game before this, and I think Uncharted 4 might beat it, honestly. Like, the storytelling was, I loved it. The cinematics were incredible. Just everything about it. It was just an absolute joy to play through. So I highly, 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 highly suggest you guys pick up Uncharted 4: Thief's End. It really is just incredible. Okay, enough gushing about Uncharted 4. Next and final game, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. And again, like, these two games here I've just beat recently over the last week. I fucking adored Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I loved the first Mirror's Edge game. I beat that game I think 3 or 4 times now. Just something about having this first person view, free runner. I love doing speedruns in platformers. I love doing that kind of stuff, especially in platformers. So having it in this 3D space that you can kind of see where you want to go to make it look really good and make it go clean, and you want to improve your time by a little bit, it's just an absolute joy to play. And I like that they include this cool little story to it, but it's mainly the world that I fell in love with. I love the idea of like this oppressive regime and like this glass city of basically all these slaves working away in their offices and stuff, and then you guys are on the rooftops free moving around, and it's a gorgeous world. And I just love, and that's what really brings me into games. It's the world that they built around it. It doesn't have to have a deep story or anything like that, even though they try to do that here. Actually, that's one thing I found annoying. What they did for this game is they had a lot of the story kind of based off of what was it? They kind of based it off of a comic initially. So jumping from Mirror's Edge 1 right into Catalyst, you're missing a whole bunch of plot that you wouldn't have otherwise seen. So I had to watch a YouTube video recapping what happened in the comic, which is kind of annoying because I have to do that after. At the start of the game, I was like, who are these people? Why do you make it seem like I know all these people? I haven't met any of these people. Where's my sister from the first game? All that kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah, I just adore this. I feel like they could do even more with it, though. Maybe if they do end up ever doing a sequel, I feel like this game had some pretty middling reviews, and I guess people just didn't like it as much. I don't know what it is. I absolutely adored it. The open world aspect of it, really good. But maybe they go to the ground in the sequel as well. Maybe it's not just, that could be story-wise about them, opening up a city, and not just sticking to the rooftops, but maybe they open up, for the groundwork as well. So now you can do, all this parkour and stuff, on the streets as well. That'd be pretty interesting. If they ever did do a Mirror's Edge 3, I would, that would be the one game other than that one game, Faye, from Zoink Games, that I would actually buy new from EA day one. That's the one game that would do it. So EA, DICE, if you guys are doing it, that's the one game that I will actually get it. But I feel like if they did do it, it would probably be a game as a service, which would probably just ruin the game. And so maybe that wouldn't happen at all anyway. So I don't know. EA, fuck you. But yeah, no, the game is just fantastic. It looks stunning. I like the characters that they threw in there. The world is just beautiful, and I just loved running through the world. It's so fun, and having it so open now. Everything I could have asked for in a sequel to Mirror's Edge. I absolutely adored it. So anyway, that was the last game I want to talk about, but I did want to bring up some of the games I'm going to be playing very soon. I actually just recently started Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I've been holding out on this. I wanted to go through the whole Assassin's Creed series. I've played every Assassin's Creed game up to this point. I was really getting kind of bored with a lot of them, and just kind of trudging along through them just to try to complete them, to see through the story. And yeah, it was all leading up to this one because I knew I was going to love this game. And at the start, it was pretty good. You know, it was a little bit, I was kind of scared there was going to be just a typical Assassin's Creed how it is, but I just recently kind of opened up into this open world on my pirate ship, and oh man, I'm loving it. I've been waiting for a pirate game like this forever, and you know, I'm definitely looking forward to that new Pirates game from Ubisoft coming out that's probably from the same team that did Black Flag. And yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with that. Sea of Thieves would have been something for me, but I don't own an Xbox, and with, you know, I've always been more of a single player content kind of a player. So having a game like Sea of Thieves that is, you know, super, you know, co-op based and squad based and all that kind of stuff, I don't know if it would work for me, but I know I'm going to enjoy watching on Twitch. I just love the idea of going on a pirate ship and, like, you know, stealing loot from someone else's ship and, you know, killing their crew and like recruiting some of their crew and then going to an island, finding treasure, you know, staying there at like a bar or something, you know. I don't know. I just love the whole idea of Pirates Life. You know, Pirates of the Caribbean is one of my favorite series of all time. So, yeah, no, I'm super excited just to get more into this game. Again, a little bit slow at the start, but you know, that was the first, you know, maybe 2 hours, and now I'm all in. I'm ready to go. Yeah. Anyway, I still have to go through Fae and Mulaka as well on Switch. Fae, I was playing, and then I got caught up in Skyrim, and then all this other stuff came up, and man, I have just so many games to play. But yeah, I'm excited to get back into Fae. I'm probably just going to restart. I played through the first world, so I might just restart it, go through it quick, and just catch up where I was. And Mulak, I still have to just go through. I played a little bit of it, and then I know that I have all these other games that are, you know, that I'm playing, and it's tough for me to go through multiple games at once. So I like to just play one game, go through it, finish it, on to the next one, kind of a thing. So anyway. Jesus, that was long. So those are all the games I've been playing. I rushed through that as much as I can, but I think we're running at around 13 minutes for the games I've been playing recently. So let's get on to the next segment, that is Hot Matches. So yeah, this segment of Hot Matches is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be sort of a rant and just kind of my thoughts about everything going on in the industry recently, particularly around Switch. First off, usually I would include kind of a separate, smaller upload segment taken from the podcast, so I would have maybe included my my Nintendo Gold Coins stuff here, or maybe my Smash my Nintendo Direct reaction video, stuff like that. I would usually include that in the I take it from the podcast and put that out as a separate video, but in this one I'm just going to kind of ramble on here. Hope you guys enjoy this, and let me know if you enjoy this kind of stuff where I just start rambling about different stuff here. But one thing that I have coming up that I'm going to be working on after I finish recording this is a new No More Heroes video coming up soon. It's going to have a lot of effort put into it. I have a lot of you know, footage I captured and stuff like that, and you know, I'm ready to, you know, kind of go all in on this. I did recently see Active Gamer Life's video about No More Heroes as well, and I didn't want to watch the whole thing because I wanted to kind of get my own points out there, but I did watch the first few minutes, and I think he's kind of talking about the same thing that I am, about how for some reason people are acting surprised and going, you know, and wanting to overlook No More Heroes again. And, you know, it's funny. It's a great minds think alike kind of thing. And that's why he's one of my favorite YouTubers. And I think you guys should highly, you know, definitely check him out as well. You know, very intelligent conversations and, you know, common sense, you know, really thinks about what's going on and has, you know, educated opinions and thoughts about everything. You know, I highly suggest you guys go check out his channel and his video as well. Anyway, one of the main talks I want to talk about here, recently on YouTube and stuff like that, I've been seeing this even on Twitter. Ignorant people about the games that come out. So I was on a video, I believe it was on Switch Force. I see there's a video about top 10 eShop games for under $10, I believe. So I go through the comments, and I see quite a, you know, not too many, but a few comments that come out with a lot of likes on them though. And they're basically saying how all these games are just phone games running on, that could be running on iPhone 4. Why are they on Switch? Fuck this. You know, shit like that. So, people saying these games are all probably free on iPhone too, you know? So, let's just, here's the list of the games they had. They had games like SteamWorld Dig, Shovel Knight, Shoe, you know, stuff like that, Goner, all these games, and none of them are phone games. I don't know if maybe SteamWorld Dig was ported after the fact, but these are games highly acclaimed from console, you know, games that are better than the majority of AAA games that come out nowadays. You know, SteamWorld Dig, Shovel Knight, you know, like, what? But then all of a sudden you have these ignorant people just trying to, anything that's indie or eShop only, they just try to say, this is an iPhone game. Like, what? Like, I'm going to have to do a whole new video about kind of the term indie. I've been wanting to do a video like that literally for months and months now, but I'll get the inspiration to do it sometime soon. But the whole term indie needs some redefining here. It needs a separate definition, because indie isn't indie anymore. Like, even publishers that publish multiple games a year are calling themselves indie now. No, you're a fucking company. That's what it is. Anyway, I'll have to make a video about that sometime later. But a lot of these people that are saying this stuff about these games, they're saying also that they hope these cheap indies that fill the eShop just go away. Why? Why do you want games to go away? Why does it matter to you? Seriously, like, I get if some of these games you're like, oh man, that's from a phone, I don't want it here. That's 100% agree. I just won't buy the game, nor will I pay attention to it, and nor will I see it on a best-selling. It's not going to be on a bestsellers list. It's not topping the charts anywhere. It's going to be forgotten in a week. Why does it matter to you if they have a game that is ported from cell phones onto the Switch? It doesn't matter. You're not going to buy it. No one else is going to buy it. There's not going to be any reviews up really for it either. Like, it doesn't matter. Same thing happened with the Wii. It had a bunch of shovelware. Even though these games that are from phones, they might not even be shovelware. There could be really good games, and there are quite a few. But there's a bunch of shovelware on the Wii, right? But so many people, all you hear people saying is, the Wii is just all shovelware. I hate this. Why are they having these games come out? You don't need to pay attention to these games. I don't get this. Why do people need to pay attention to something that isn't there? Like, this happens for, like, look at the dozens of other great titles that aren't shovelware or shitty games. Focus on those games that are there. There's literally dozens and dozens of games you could be looking at to grab now instead. Even back then on the Wii, the Wii U, everything. The same thing happens with PS4 right now. Just go to the PSN and tell me that these same games that you're calling shovelware and shouldn't be on the Switch are on the fucking PS4. It happens when you have a popular platform. Look at the fucking PS2. The system that so many people wanted to buy. The system that sold, like 200 million or something ridiculous like that, or 150 million? Even though it was mainly for DVD player, but still, look at what they had on store shelves back in the day. The amount of shovelware there was insane, but do you hear people saying the PS2 was a shovelware machine? No, it fucking wasn't, because you don't need to pay attention to that. Same thing with the Wii. You don't need to pay attention to those games. Those are just there. They're extra on the side. No one is fucking caring about those games. Look at the games that do matter. They're all there. Every week there's at least 2 or 3 games that are coming out on the Switch that are actually like high quality games that you should be at least taking a look into, see if you might be interested in. Like, I don't get this. This is like a mindset of people that I don't even want to call gamers anymore. You see this mindset of people that they care about what the platform is and the games that are out for it, but they don't actually play games. They're the people who are going to be playing 1 or 2 games a year, but yet they're super casual gamers, but yet they're so involved on YouTube about stuff. So they're like the streamer age of gamers, where they don't actually play games. They don't care about games. They just want personality and to watch people play games and swear and be stupid. That's what the majority of gamers are nowadays, which is weird. Like, there's been this ever since the Wii, really, and maybe even before that. PS2 days, there's been a lot of transition between the hardcore gamers and the casual gamers, and now there's this huge middle ground. I feel like so mthe casual gamers have got this middle ground where they're playing Fortnite. You see fucking this ninja guy playing with Drake, you know what I mean, like Fortnite. The hardcore gamers are so much smaller now than they ever were before. Some have been transferred, whether it's just them growing up and having more responsibilities in life. They're getting into this focus of, hey, well, I can play Fortnite with some buddies. There you go. That's all I need to do. I'm not going to look at anything else. I'm just going to say they all suck because I don't want to have an excuse to have to buy another game. And then there's like the actual casuals, which really are just probably playing on phones now. And I feel like the middle ground is so large now of these players that they don't actually care about the games. They care about what everyone else is playing, what is streaming, and they'll play that game, and that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? It's really weird to see, and I don't like seeing that, especially when, they're the ones that are populating a lot of these new YouTube channels that are surrounded around Switch or for other systems, anything like that. And, like, again, like, they just care about the state of the system and the companies, but don't actually care about playing the games. Whether it's because they can't afford it, so they make excuses, or or if they hate the game and they just don't, or they just want to set up their mind so that they hate the game to not want it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the tech junkies and the people that follow like Digital Foundry. They don't actually play games. They play resolution and 60 plus frames per second kind of a thing. They don't actually care if the game is good. If a game, if it drops, if it's a 30 frames per second game, they're not going to play it, even if it's a fantastic game or not. Like, these are the type of people we're dealing with here, and this is sadly a huge chunk of gamers nowadays. They're probably only playing stuff like Fortnite or PUBG. And again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on this because this is like the new popular thing, but these games are a culmination of what gamers have been moving towards over the last few years. Nothing fucking, it just makes me sick just seeing that so many gamers, even gamers that used to be into all these different games, are now like, yeah, no, I only play this now. You're casualizing yourself, yet you're still so involved. I don't know, like, I'm probably just being a judgmental prick right now, but I don't know, it's just so weird to see these people try to say that they're hardcore gamers, for example, but they just literally will not play anything else. It's I don't know, it's just really weird to see. And again, going back to my point here, people trying to knock and generalize any indie game as saying, oh, this is an iPhone game, I'm not going to play that. You're not a fucking gamer, man. You're seriously not a gamer if you're just neglecting anything because it could be ran on a fucking iPhone. Like, this is an argument I had in that comment section. They're saying, oh man, this can run on an iPhone. Why would I want this game? Fucking PUBG and Fortnite run on an iPhone. You probably play those two. Those are probably the only games you play, but they run on a fucking iPhone now. And will probably be out in the States and fucking Canada and Europe and everything soon. You know what I mean? Like, all these games can run on a fucking iPhone. These things aren't unpowerful. It's just whatever people want to put onto those things. People don't usually want to play those big games like this, but now because Fortnite and PUBG are so damn casual, obviously they want to put that on the cell phone as well. I don't know. It's another video is all about the Switch fans coming out of the woodwork, and not just that, but like, not all of a sudden are getting big on YouTube. Like, this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while now too. There's this resurgence ever since the Switch was announced, really, of all these, or even just before the Switch, of people, anticipating NX rumors. A lot of these channels that are coming out, and they're now big on YouTube, but they haven't like played games for the last like 10 years. Like, that's really good to see. I'm happy that a lot of these guys are getting back into gaming, and a lot of it has to do with the Switch, but where the fuck were you? And now you're big on YouTube and you're having your opinions about stuff, but you have absolutely no knowledge to base it off of. You see all these guys that are saying, oh my god, yes, finally Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. And it's like, where the fuck were you? Where were you in Wii U days? Where were you with Donkey Kong Country? Where were you with all these ports and stuff? I mean, with all these other games on the Wii U. Like, not even just that, but like every system, where were you with like Uncharted 3? Where were you with, like, people don't even play The Last of Us back then. It's like, where were these people? And now they're jumping on the Switch bandwagon and they have no knowledge behind them. It's just so weird to me. And that these guys are the ones doing well. And I'm not saying they don't deserve to be doing well. Like, these are guys I'm subscribing to as well, but they just don't have this background knowledge to anything. It's just so odd to me that these guys are supposed to be the hardcore gamers, and I don't think they are. I feel like just the entirety of YouTube in general has dropped off from the hardcore gaming. It's gone into more of the streaming, casual, personality-driven gamer that really isn't actually caring too much about the games. And what I think is weird too is because a lot of these guys that are doing Switch content are Nintendo partners in their Nintendo YouTube program or whatever it's called. So they get a lot of these games that they don't care about. They would never care about unless Nintendo didn't send it to them. And then they're trying to give their opinions on this stuff that they haven't played they haven't played that series literally in 15 or something years. It's really weird to me. And again, I don't want to seem like I'm knocking them too much, but like, it's just the fact that they don't have any knowledge to anything. They don't have like the common sense in like the gaming world about it. It's like, obviously you guys probably know I'm talking about like Arlo and stuff like that. I fucking love Arlo. He's one of my favorite channels, you know what I mean? But it's just so weird hearing someone who actually doesn't have that much knowledge make it sound smart, but then not actually have a good point to it. It's really weird to me. And we're in like a weird spot with gaming YouTubers. I find, you know, like I try to follow a lot of different ones. You know, I'm following like Spawn Wave. I watch every day. You know, I follow Spawncast. I follow his news wave, stuff like that. And it's weird with him too, because like clearly he wasn't really involved in too much stuff the last like 5 or so years. But, you know, now he's really involved, but he is really smart and he has a lot of good opinions on stuff. So I can appreciate him. Like he's one of the best YouTubers out there. But it's still weird to see that he lacks knowledge in certain areas. That's just really odd to me. I guess another person I watch a lot is RGT85, and I know he's been in the industry for a while now. I know he's been with Nintendo Enthusiast and all that kind of stuff, and I remember subscribing to him way back when. So he's an interesting one to talk to, because he's kind of jumping into that kind of casually oriented new Switch crowd, but he has like the background knowledge too, which is really cool to see. I highly suggest subscribing to him. You know, the Arlos it's the Arlos and those type of gaming YouTubers that are kind of like irritating me, but it's a weird situation, because I love their content and what they do, but just weird that they don't have this background knowledge to this stuff, and you know, and haven't played these games. It's like, wait, really? Like these highly critically acclaimed games, and that whole time you just said, no, I'm not going to play it. Really weird to me. I don't know, maybe it's you know, as soon as you get a kid or something, maybe everything just kind of drops off, and because the Switch is portable, now everything's open. That honestly is probably what it is. Again, it's just we're in a weird state of gaming these days with who's playing, what we're playing, and you know, I feel like we're on the cusp of like a really big change in the gaming industry and the gaming sphere here. So I don't know. I feel like I should maybe have a full video. Separate video about this at some point. I have a lot of ideas for separate videos I want to do that would be podcast segments. You know, I hope you guys enjoy this kind of stuff. Again, I rambled. I probably repeated the same thing 3 or 4 times here, but you know, I hope you guys appreciate kind of some of my thoughts here, and I hope I don't just seem like an absolute fucking madman. You know, just an asshole. But you know. Again, just, you know, the fact they don't have like the knowledge or just like kind of I don't want to say common sense, but kind of common sense about stuff in the gaming industry and the games that have come out in the past. It's really weird, you know? So anyway, burping up a storm here. Yeah, no, I think that's the end for a No Filter Ninja Podcast episode 13. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I'm hoping I can get these up a little bit more frequently. Next few weeks are going to be really busy, really next few months. I'm actually just leaving my job for another one soon, getting a sort of a promotion. So first few months at least, I definitely want to make sure I do a heavy focus and make sure I perform really well. So we'll see how this goes, but I do plan on at least getting a video out every week. And again, I hope you guys enjoy. Please follow me on Twitter. I'm really active there. I will be, you know, going forward. I really enjoy Twitter. I'm very outspoken. I think that really works well with my name, No Filter, a Nintendo podcast. I say what I want when I want to, whoever I want, and you know, even though it might make me seem like a prick and like I'm getting too involved in some stuff, you know, it's all points coming from, you know, experience kind of thing within, you know, gaming and stuff like that. So anyway, again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.